What I think with that, yeah, if I'm gonna be honest, yeah, it reminds me of the economy, for example. Sometimes with the economy, you have to adjust to what it is. Do you get what I mean? Yeah. So music industry to me is the exact same thing. You'll have a few people, for example, that's doing it for money, and then you have a few people that's not doing it for money. And then when it's what it is it's like it's a division between like two sides. And then some people, for example, would be smart enough to be like, let me go to the bottom and find them people, for example, put them people in position or whatever. And some people are just like, well, I don't think that's going to make me money, for example, so let me not even bother with it. I think it's getting where you fit in now. Do you get what I mean? Yeah. And even down to me, I've realized if that's a problem, like let's say, for example, me that does music, I've got specific things that I'd be like, that they could tighten up better, whether it's underground or overground, they could tighten that up better. So it's a good system. Do you get me? But I don't think the system makes sense for both of us. So I think it's a numbers game. Yeah. So let's say, for example, you have a Charlie Sloth, for example, where his numbers are so crazy, he's valuable. So they're like, you know what? We could do something with him. So then they'll give him the opportunity to get the AU vodka thing or whatever the case is. And then depending on, if he's smart, he'll just mix what he was doing before with the thing that he's got and then keep his brand going. So then that can make him last like a good 10 more years. Then there's people, for example, where there's no business plan, no nothing. And because I used to think that as well, but then I realized we're in business. Like the older I've got, and remember, I even said to Chef, I've been in music since I was 17 years old. I only went to get a job 2 years ago when I had kids. Do you get what I mean? Yeah. And one thing I realized when I went to go get a job, I understood everything's a system. If I'm playing within their system, they're gonna sack me and go get someone else to do the job. Absolutely. That's that. True. Whereas outside, we're gonna grind it out. We're gonna be buddy. We're gonna be all of these things. We're the excitement, the hype. In business, for example, it's business. They need you to get the job done.
It's nothing personal.
So I've even started understanding. Okay, if I can never be upset by it, and I even always say this, if you don't get in your feelings about things, for example, you will be smart enough to be like, you know what, this is a problem, let me fix it. Or let me create my system, for example, and hopefully my system should manifest into that, what I want it to be, and then I could bring in the next set of people, as long as they're good, for example, and then themselves as good. Because realistically, once they got a following, you're going to do the same thing, but just maybe not as strict as them.
Exactly,
Is that? You get what I'm trying to say? But I feel like these up-and-coming artists,
they don't understand.
They forget that because of the social media once again, you get me?
But recently, to be quite fair, I've had a lot of like artists sending me their music.
Love that. That's what I like to hear.
With Charlie Clips and stuff like
that. I've heard of that
one. I don't know if you've seen The Living Loud.
Big Charlie.
And then Tobes and Fire Crew.
I like Tobes.
And all that. So like people have started giving me like all their music, and I'm like, wow, this is good, and the music's amazing.
The two main, I always say as well, the two main consumers first, before I believe it goes to the masses, is the kids and the DJs.
Yes.
If the kids and the DJ, if the DJ can play something, they'll be like, you know what, let me hear this next to WizKid's song, or let me hear this next to Skepta's tune, for example. To me, as soon as that can work, you're clear. If the kids are playing your stuff, for example, or going to school or whatever the case is, those are the two main things where I automatically know, okay.
They'll trend your music on TikTok or wherever.
After that, I'm going to be real, maybe radio. Do you get what I mean? But everything else, and I heard this the other day as well, on social media, where they basically said, whenever you sign a deal, you're not safe. You get what I mean?
I did hear that.
So if you're smart, you'll outwork your
label.
You get what I mean? So to me, any single time that man's got an opportunity or situation, I capitalize on it. I do way more than I'm paid for. Now anyway. Before, I might play a little bit because I'm thinking, that person should play their position and do their job. Now I don't have time for all of that. Because if they don't, I don't even want to get on you. I should still put in my 10 toes. It's only if, like, let's say for example, they're like, well, you can't continue, you can't put this out and that. I'm like, alright, cool. Let me smash the shit out of this tune then. Do you get me? Instead of like 10 pieces of content, I might do 20. Do you get what I mean? You just never know. One of them send it to a DJ, the prime people, for example, that's going to send it, or maybe get a situation on TikTok.
Just be different. Because the thing is, once you're different, you're already standing out. And you just got to keep researching yourself and researching what works for you. And I think it's just focusing a lot on yourself and what you want to bring to the table. Rather than saying, he's doing that, I want to copy him, because that's just, everyone's doing that. Like, you'll just be like, you'll be 5 minutes of fame and then it's like, on to the next.
I would say, understand it's a long-term game, and so pace yourself. I feel like it's like any single thing that you're doing anyway in life in general. I think what the slow and steady wins the race, isn't it? So I feel like when you believe in your thing, for example, you'll take time with it. Like, a lot of things in this day and age, I think we've all copied, and this is what I believe, not in a bad way, but I feel like the label makes us do this, where It's not their fault. They don't say, "Oh, copy my man." But what it is because his thing's working, for example, and he's getting the money, he's getting the shows. You might think, "Let me copy that." Whereas there's someone else, for example, like okay, let me use Skepta as an example. Skepta's been in the game for very long. Do you get what I mean? Yeah. He's transitioned so many times. He's switched it up like maybe every single 2-3 years. Do you get what I mean? Yeah. So for me, I just think he's had a strategy, for example, that he's known that this is a long-term game. He's not in it for like 2 singles, for example, and dropping a CD, getting excited after one thing, for example. Now, like, he's going to have moments. Do you get me? So when you understand those kind of moments, for example, to me, you become slow and steady and you enjoy it as well. Do you get me? Like, you there's a reason that you do it. Whereas if you do it for other people and everything and then you don't achieve what that person's achieving, it's like competition. So I would say don't be in competition and slow and steady wins the race. Do you know what I mean?